Hello, everybody. Hope you can hear me. Pardon me while I get finished setting up here. Oh, okay. I think I can get this where I can see chat and everything else. Get up there. Of course, it's not the same. So that's not going to work. All righty. Anyway. Let's see here. I can do this and you'll be able to see me now. Well, guys, hopefully this won't take too terribly long. I just wanted to let everybody know I kind of been hinting at what was going to happen with the layout. And unfortunately, I've come to the conclusion that this layout's going to have to come down. I'm not getting out of the hobby. I'll be saving most of this stuff. A lot of it I'm going to end up selling. A lot of my standard gauge HO equipment I'll be selling also. Pretty good prices. Be selling stuff like tortoise turnouts. I'm not going to use the tortoises anymore. I'm going to go strictly manual turnouts on anything I build. Just to keep it simpler and less maintenance on it. So I will have, if I counted right, I've got 67 tortoises on this layout. That's how many turnouts I have. I will be selling those at a pretty good price. And I think what I'll do is give everybody either in here or in back on track, first dibs. I won't put stuff on eBay or anything like that until I get down to the very end of it or something, and most of the stuff is gone. But anyway, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to attempt to build a different kind of layout. Well, not different, not as big. Let's put it that way. It won't be quite as big. It will be easier to handle for me. I've just gotten to where I cannot get underneath this layout, and there's so much left to do underneath the main yard here that I'm standing in front of. And I just can't get under there and then still function after I get out, if I can get out. I haven't been inside the mountain in over a year, and I know it needs track cleaned and stuff like that. So, I just can't get in and out of that with my knees and back. So, like I said, unfortunately, this layout's going to come to an end. I thought I would kind of give everybody a tour of what I do have here. Get some of this stuff out of the way. I thought that power supply was going to work, so I've got to get done with this before the computer loses power. But anyway, let me grab the other camera, and I'll kind of give you a tour of everything on the layout. Most of you have seen this already. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Does everybody hear me okay? Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, thank you, Bill. Anyway, let me turn the camera around here, and I can give you a kind of an idea what's going on with my planned strategy of this. On this lower level, there we go. Okay, as you can see on the lower level here, where the roundhouse is, right over here, and the turntable and stuff. This was not Timberline. This was Cowboy Valley. Okay, so I had the main yard here. Had the engine, going to have engine facilities in it and all that kind of stuff. I did get an ice house that I really like, but I don't know if you can see that on there. This is kind of hard to see. Okay, right there. Got an ice house here in the sand tower and the coaling tower. I am going to try and save those all. Fingers crossed I can save them. Let me just take you out of this right quick. It'll be easier to do this way. So Dennis, if you're watching, I'll try to go slow. As you've probably seen from my videos, this was the lumberyard. Honor my dad, who was carpenter and contractor and house builder for years. But that was for him. Then my grandfather and my dad also worked at a place called the Mission Cafe for a long time. Over this way was going to be the junkyard right in here. And of course the office for the junkyard, but the junkyard was going to be here, just not populated yet. And then this was the first mine on the layout that I did. So then coming, close your eyes, Dennis. Coming from the yard, the narrow gauge yard, and that's all that's in the yard is narrow gauge. On the main line coming through were the standard gauge tracks for the loop-to-loop standard gauge run that would come through here. And it's double tracked right through here. It's not all double tracked, but right through here it is. So anyway, this was where the yard was going to be. You can see I've got tracks that are over there with the asphalt in them and stuff, so the trucks could get up there. Most of these flats I did myself. The big red one there I bought from one of the guys online that builds those. But anyway, coming around on the we cross over the main lines right here, the standard gauge main lines to start up the mountain. And you come in here, we have a team track here, and coming over to the junkyard and the mine right here, and then going up the mountain, kind of horseshoed back on this S-curve trestle, which I'm gonna try and save it. I don't know where I'll use it because I can't imagine a spot on anything I would build now that it would go in, but I may save it just as a keepsake. I don't know what I'll do with it, but anyway. So anyway, the narrow gauge heads into the mountain. There's 5 turns, I believe, on the narrow gauge. One of them coming outside the tunnel here and through the snow shed back in for another loop around on the helix inside the tunnel. And then comes out of the rock face up here, rock tunnel up here, and heads off in 2 directions. Now this is the summit right here. So that line right there would head over to Timberline. And this line comes over here past the past one of the mines that's loaded from the ore buckets. But comes down over here. Oh, and I didn't get the light. Oh, I got it moved. Sorry about the lighting right here. But anyway, this is one of the mines right here, and we come around. This is the whole mining district up here. All these backdrops are from Colorado. Most of these mines are Campbell's kits. These trees were all inspired by Bill, by the way. Thank you for that, Bill. But then up here we've got the Black Bart mine, a little prospector hole over there. I need to plug that in, so I do. Or turn that on, maybe. I got turned on. Oh, I didn't turn it on. There you go. See? That's what happens when you get old. You can see a little bit better now. I really hate to tear this layout out just for this section here. I really like this section, how it came out. It was completely what I was after. But anyway, line comes out here and then goes up into a switchback past the Silver Spur mine up to Cowboy Coal on the left there, and then on the right that's a Campbell's kit. That's I can't remember what the kit's called, but anyway, that's where the mining supply and REA is at. And give you a better shot down this way. Kind of what it looks like. And I even thought about trying to save this section right here, but it's really going to be more than I want to deal with as far as trying to get it put in place on a layout. I haven't ruled it out completely, but I might end up doing that. Okay, so hand over the camera so you don't get sick. So coming back out of the yard, the narrow gauge can come out this way over the lift up bridge on the dual track and come in over here to the stockyard, the main stockyard, and the slaughterhouse. Slaughterhouse is a Campbell's kit. The stockyard, all the wood and stuff out of the stockyards are out of Campbell cattle kits or stockyard kits, but I completely randomly built this so to make it fit the space and what I wanted it to show. I will definitely have a cattle pen or so on the new layout, but it won't be this one. It may be parts of this one, but it won't be this one. Okay, back again we go. Now coming out of off the summit from this side, another view up from the other way, comes through the rock cut over here and across the bridge. And I really hate to lose this aspen backdrops and stuff with all the aspens turning. I really like that too. Some more trees inspired by Bill. Comes out of the scene divide right here, over here, and here's another small cattle pen, and the guys are repairing part of it. And then we come over here, and you can see on the backdrop there's one back there that kind of needs to be repaired. We've got the church and cemetery. Boys playing ball next to the cemetery. And this is a station. I believe this was a Mount Princeton station. I can't remember the name of the kit though, or the name of the company. This is a Campbell's trackside building. Most of these are Sudum kits here. Another Campbell's tower or water tower in the back. I don't remember whose engine house that was right back there, but the cold trestle in the back is Fine Scale Miniatures, and I'll be selling that. Came out really nice, and it's set on a piece of masonite, so I should be able to get it off there fairly easily. It's got lights in it also. I'll give you a shot of it here from the other side in just a second. This is the town of Timberline, as you can see on the water tower. Then we've got the brewery right here. This is Bullet Brewery. Okay, let me step over here. It's the other side of the brewery. And meat market, which was my great-grandfather's, and we'll have his name stuff on it. I'll probably use that on the new layout. Some of these buildings will definitely go in the new layout. We got the firehouse and Lily's Pleasure Palace, and then of course the policeman behind the billboard sign. Here's another shot of the. Let me get in here where you can see it better. Another shot of the coal trestle right there. So anyway, I'd like to invite, if anybody'd like to come on and ask some questions, I'd be happy to have somebody on so we can, let me get around here. So you can ask questions if you've got any, because I can look at the chat too, but, well, turn the thing off. Oh, sorry for this. There we go. Okay. Because I know there's been people have had questions about it, and I've answered a few over the years, but there always seems to be more that people want to ask. If anybody wants to come on, I'm going to put it in the. I can't take everybody, but we'll put a few people in if they want to come on. There you go. There's the link. The layout downstairs, I think I've kind of settled on a couple of tables in the 4x8-ish size that I can put on wheels and roll back and forth so I can get to it on either side of it. Probably won't be using backdrops, just to keep it simple again. And then I'll find a way to connect the two together when I want to run the railroad. And I heard my deal go off, but I don't know who it is. Definitely. Yeah, I will, Bernard, even if I don't put them on the layout, all the stuff that entails the family. My wife and daughter built I didn't show you that. It's on the standard gauge part, the oil derrick back over here, because she was in oil and gas. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, this is the only time I can get a word in edgewise.
Well, any questions, feel free to shoot.
I do. You saving the trees?
The trees, as many as I can, yeah.
Yeah.
Even the woodland scenic trees, these trees back here, I'll save them too. These look okay, especially when you have a whole bunch of them, but they're real skinny. They're kind of a different kind of fir compared to the ones that are built like Bill's. These are much more like a conifer, I would guess. But anyway, the ones that I built like Bill did look really closer to what's on the backdrop on most of it. I've got a lot of super tree material too. I'm going to be doing trying some different aspens out versus what I did do. The aspens I did over here. Well, these are the super tree aspens back here. Let me see if I can.
So Dwight has a question. He said he can't hear you, and he said, "Are you tearing it down?"
Yes, we're tearing it down. It'll go piece by piece, obviously, because I can't carry it out of here in one piece. It's a pretty good size. But yeah, those trees you see there, those two different colors of the aspens, those are super tree armatures with super tree leaves on them, which came out really nice. I like those, especially for up close.
Yeah.
And the ones I did over by the long bridge over here, those are Woodland Scenics fall foliage, almost like a mat. It's like a piece of lace or something. And I just took the armatures, same armatures I used for these. I painted them, made them look like aspen trunks, and then wrapped that mat around it. And those came out really good too.
But we can't help you. We can't help you with no sound, Dwight.
Can't help with what? I'm sorry.
Dwight doesn't have sound on his computer. I guess, I don't know.
Well, the problem is I got my phone's way back here.
Everybody hears you fine. I hear you fine.
Okay. I have a little bit of trouble hearing you because it's using this. This is my wife's laptop that I'm on, and it's a little tougher to navigate than I'm used to. Hey, Steve.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, well, it's not what's up. It's what's coming down.
So, I got a question for you. Because of having to get underneath and all that kind of stuff, are you going to try to make like the layout hinged or something so you don't have to go under?
Well, what I plan on doing is kind of like what I did with the top of this. I'm going to take a cue from Dennis, and I did all the wiring on this with it upside down on the bench. Wired it all up, brought it up here and put it in place. But I did have to get under here to put all these little lights in and stuff that you see. That, even just twisting here to get under here kills my back.
Yeah, maybe hinging it, like Steve says. Hinge it so you can.
Well, that's a possibility. It depends. I'd still like to get some mountain scenes in it, but I don't want to build anything like this, obviously. But I'd like to get some elevation in it, so that would, hinging it would make a difference on that. But I'm not going to be using tortoises, so I don't have to get under to do anything with those. And once it's wired, it should be pretty simple. The lights, I won't have as many lights for one thing as I have on even right here probably. But I will do those on their own bus, and I'll do it where it's fairly simple. I'll make everything long enough to come to the front or to one edge of the layout. I'll be able to get to both sides of those pieces. So I should be able to wire it right at the front and not have to get underneath. That's the plan anyway.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's, I'm going to try and do that. I don't know if it'll work. We'll see. But, a lot of this has to come down before I even start down there. But what I don't save, I'm going to end up selling or giving away or whatever. So, and I've still got a lot of stuff that's not on the layout yet. A lot of detail stuff I don't have on here.
You'll be able to sell or use your touch toggles.
I won't be using them at all.
Yeah, so you'll be able to sell them.
Yeah, the touch toggles, all that stuff. All the ones I've got down here in the main panel for the yard and stuff, all that stuff I'll sell it all.
Yeah.
I'll sell at a pretty good price because I'm not going to use it. Somebody needs it.
Yeah, good deal.
Dennis's tab was muted. Is that what Gail tells you all the time, that you're muted?
Yeah, that's what I plan on doing. Running my bus wire right behind my fascia on the front of my layout. And then
the thing about these lights, they're really nice lights. I like them. Get them from a guy in China off of eBay, and they're super cheap compared to what you buy them here for. I get like 10 of these for like $7-8. So you can't beat that. And I've not had one not work out of the bag. I've burned a few of them up, not getting them hooked up right, but he sends resistors with them and everything else. So, if you screw them up, it's on you. But they're really good little lights. A lot of the buildings have lights in them and stuff, and of course those all stay in them. And I'll reuse all these that I can, but I've got a bunch more of these that I've not even gotten out of the package yet.
Right.
So I'll be getting rid of that stuff.
I'm going to drop out. Somebody come up and ask Claude some questions. He might not be reading chat.
Lynn's got one here. I wonder if jack stands, like for a camper shell, could be used to lift a layout to work under. Just a thought. Well, if I was going to do that, Lynn, what I would do is put pulleys in where I could just crank it up and get under it. But there again, I plan not to have to get under it, so I won't have that problem. And I may even make it in modular form that they all hook together. I haven't decided that yet. It's going to be a much simpler layout than what I've got now, because health-wise, I'm not getting that much better. I mean, my wife just had eye surgery. She's recovering, thank goodness, but she's still dealing with that. And, you never know when that's going to happen to you. Talking to the eye doctor, it could happen to any of us once we get, up in age. So, you got to kind of plan for that stuff when you get this age. Gerald says, could I install extra feeder wires for lights all around the layout to limit your time needed in the layout? Well, there again, Gerald, I won't be doing anything where I'll have to get under there. All of that stuff will be made available, easily enough. Plus, these are not going to be, tables are not going to be down, say, workbench height. They're going to be up higher than that, which will put them up not quite this high, but closer to that. Well, then my shop, as far as holes in the ceiling, my shop is lined completely with OSB. The builder looked at me really crazy when I told him that's what I wanted in there. But it really makes a difference because now I can put shelving anywhere I want, any of that kind of stuff. I don't have to worry about not having something to hold a screw. Let me go back here. Dennis, how long till that kickstart the Sawzall? Well, it's going to be a little bit because I'm going to get I'm going to get all the buildings and stuff off before I do any rough demolition like that. I'll pull up some of the track and stuff. I may even try to save some of the rail.
That's what I was just going to ask you. How are you going to cut this stuff out? Are you on? How is your layout set up? Are you on foam or are you right on the plywood with just cast over?
Yeah, most of it's either plywood or OSB. A little bit of it is Homosoap, a little bit.
Okay.
And there's very, very little bit that's foam board. A little bit, but not much.
So taking out some of the seams then is going to be a little bit tough for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, what I'll do first, like if I have to cut a section out of something, I'll pull any track up that's there, get that out of the way first, and all the buildings and stuff, and then just cut it out.
Yeah.
Now this top section here, from as far over here as you can see, well, about where the cattle pens were to the end, that's two pieces. The joint was right here. And so it was right in here, and it's two pieces, and I brought it up in two pieces, stuck it back together, and then finished up on top. So that could come back apart. That's not glued together.
Yeah. The reason I asked is because Dennis did make the joke about the Sawzall, but I'm wondering if an oscillating tool might be easier to use.
I've got one of those too.
Yeah,
I've got jigsaw, Sawzall.
Yeah.
I got all kinds of saws.
Because I mean, I think we've all seen people take these things apart with the Sawzalls, and the Sawzall is just so nasty. But I wonder if the oscillating tool will be a little bit easier to cut with and actually get good seams out for you. Well,
the trick in cutting wood with the Sawzall and getting a fairly smooth seam or smooth cut is using a metal blade. Use like a 10 tooth or 12 tooth metal blade. The rake on the teeth isn't as big, so it cuts much smoother.
Okay.
Not to say that it's easy, but that could work. But I don't plan on saving a lot of this. About the only thing I can think that I would try to save would be the mining district back here.
Yeah.
But that's 7 foot long by, I don't know, 18 inches, something like that. And I don't know that I'll have a place for it on the layout because I'm not going to have enough room lengthwise to rise very easily. And if I put in helix, that's going to take up, you take a 4x8 sheet of plywood and you put a 20-inch radius helix on it. It's going to take up the whole width of the plywood.
Yep.
So there's really no way of getting up elevation like I do now. So I doubt that'll happen. I'd like to save it just because I like the scene, but I like the scene with the backdrop. And you can see how tall the backdrop is. So I don't see that happening, but it could.
Can you just use it as a standalone module, like in your office or something?
No, I wouldn't. No, my wife would nix that. That's her office too.
Oh.
No, I'm surprised she let me do this. But she knew, it was the same reason she let me build. We took the mother-in-law suite out of the house and we had the house built and had it made into my shop. So my shop is inside the house, access from the garage, but it is inside the house, and it's done so I could build I could build the airplanes I was building at the time. So when we were looking to move before we decided to build, we were looking for space. She was also helping me look for space where I could put a shop in the house or close to the house. So, you know, she knows how much it means to me. She knows what I like doing with it. And she didn't have a problem with that, but she didn't really want something this big. She didn't think I was going to get this big. So she'll be happy when it's gone. But she also knows I have to have something to do or I'll be a pain in the butt, which I may be a pain in the butt anyway. Let's see, what else you got? Are you going to sell the tortoise switches or are they staying with the turnouts? Rick, I will save the turnouts if possible. Most of them are not glued down except where the ballast is on it. So if I can get them up without tearing them up, I'll do that. But I'm fully capable of building more turnouts. They're all Fast Trax turnouts. And I can build more and probably do a better job now than I did when I built most of these. But the tortoises will be sold. I'm not even going to attempt to sell them until I get them all out of here. But see, I've got to cut up the layout to get them out because I'm not going to crawl under to get them loose. So, you know, I've got to do that. I cut the layout to a point where I can flip it over and take all the tortoises off. But they all work well. They also all have the quick connectors that have screw terminals, so you don't have to solder them.
God, I don't know why.
That is the best way to go. If I've got one here close. Let's see. Yeah, there's one, but I'm not going to be able to really show it to you. Anyway, they slide on. You've probably seen them before. They make them with a solder connection too, but they're minor screw terminals. Do I know how many you have? Yeah, 67, Dennis, I think is what I counted. Yeah, Bernard, I didn't build the pool. I just have to maintain it, which proved not fun this winter. Trust me. Yeah. No problem, Steve. They'll still have drill holes in them. What do you mean drill holes in them? Why would I have drill holes in my tortoises? Hey, Lynn. Dennis, come on here. This is the.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Dennis, come on here. This is the. Yeah, I can hear you. Whoa, get some feedback.
That was me. I took care of that, I hope. I just wanted to point out a couple of things. You're talking about a smaller area. This is almost the size of Heath's room out there in Human City Junction. Hey, I like that look.
What the hell is that?
This is what a real modeler looks like. I mean, this is what a real modeler looks like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's looking good, man.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is all in sections. I had the thought when I built it that might have to take it apart. So this is literally a 4x8 sheet of plywood. This is 4x4. That's 4x4 over there. It's a mess, but there it is.
Yeah.
3 foot across there, 2 back here. So, you know, way back when I built this, the price of plywood, I tried to do the best I could. And it's all held together with 1/2-inch bolts and great big flat washers.
Yeah.
So literally, this unbolts, you would have to cut them out, and you would have to cut over there. All comes out in 4 pieces. It's all movable.
That's kind of what I'm kind of thinking about, maybe doing something like that, just so whoever has to deal with it down the road could take it apart and take it out pretty easy.
All my turnouts are hand turnouts, except There's one way in the back, and that's the choke off of a lawnmower. So to
Yeah,
operate the turnout, it's just push and pull, and that turns the turnout back there.
yeah, I've
But
got one like that over here. It's my stub switch that I built for that first mine.
I don't go under here for anything other than storage. That's all storage. But I just wanted to, rather than trying to type all of this, I thought I'd just kind of give you a visual. And
Oh, sure.
yeah, you can do mountains. There's,
Yeah,
and here's
it's just going to be
a,
how high I want to go with it.
here's an incline, goes all the way around and comes out there at the bridge and back down the back side. So even for a small area, you can still have your heights and so forth. I'm going to bow out because I think the sound's kind of funky, but I thought it was easier to show rather than try to type it all out. Anyway, see ya.
Lynn, before you go, that's standard HO, right?
Correct.
Okay.
None of that fancy stuff. All the buildings are Kit Bash. Remember Rick from Foss Bailey? That's his building. There's all kinds of stuff. One back there made out of wife was a school teacher, gave me a big stack of tongue depressors, or what do you want to call them?
Oh yeah.
That's all made out of popsicle sticks. There you go.
Yeah. And looks normal. I mean, it looks exactly like what you'd see in one of the old Colorado towns.
Yep. This is nowhere on the level of, where is he? This guy over here. No, over there. There he is. Nowhere like his, nowhere like yours. But for an amateur, and it works.
Hey, if you like it, it's good.
Yep. Then I got my modules. Now the modules are another story. Which in 3 weeks we got a show coming up, and I got a lot of new ones that are going to be all put together. That is the Dry Gulch Coach Town. So there'll be videos and stuff out on that. Anyway, that's all. Talk to you later.
Okay. Thanks for dropping by. Oh, so does anybody have any questions on? Here we go. On the layout as it is now? Anything I did or anything like that before it starts getting torn down?
Are you going to be able to save your backdrops?
I'm going to try. I probably won't use them, but you might like them.
Well,
And if I can save them and you want them, you can have them. But they're just
Well,
taped up on the hardboard. So I'm going to try to. But see, like places like my seam block and stuff, where I actually glued it to the backdrop, I don't know if those parts will save. I'll have to probably cut out what's behind that. Because that paint will come off that vinyl if you scratch it or anything. So I'm sure it would not look good when I take it down. But I'm going to try and save them, yeah. Because somebody can use them. You know, I hate to throw anything away that somebody can use with the cost of everything anymore. So, yeah, anything I don't use on my layout is going to get sold or given away. But I just got to get it down because I'm not doing anything with it right now. You know, I got up here and I was putting these buildings on this top deck here. And then I went to wiring all the lights. And the day I wired most of these lights, I couldn't walk for 2 days because of my back. So it's, you know, that's when it hit me. It's like, this isn't going to last. There's no way I can keep doing this. I walk up here and I go, no, I'm not going to tear it down. And I'm like, but I can't really do anything with it the way it is. You know, it's some of it's done, but some of it's, you know, most of it's not yet. So, and most of what's not done is getting underneath it and doing that kind of stuff. So the scenery on top is a breeze. That's not a problem. But getting under it, you know, it's tough. I think back to this bottom deck the bottom level and how I built it and stuff, thinking, man, that would be a pain in the butt now.
Yeah.
That I built that, and that was only 4 years ago, something like that. But yeah, there's a lot of scenes I'd like to save, but even if I save them, I don't know what I'd do with them. You know, somebody asked me, who was it? Asked me if I could save. Well, it might have been Jerry. Asked me if I could save this scene on the mountain here, this main scene. You know, so if I went to here, that's about 3 feet and about 18 inches deep if I cut it straight in the back. And then from just the bottom of the waterfall to the top of the mountain is probably 4 feet. Where do you put that? It's not like you can set it on a bookshelf.
Right, well, you put it right there where it is now. It's purpose built.
And then it sits there and gets dust all over it, you know? It's
Yeah.
like,
I mean, you might be able to just pull the bridge out and, you know, maybe
Well,
that's
well, like the wood bridge up here on top, that's all scratch built. And that's a better bridge than the bottom one. The bottom one is micro engineering bridge, but it's kit bashed. I mean, it's not, somebody said that saw it, went right after I built it, said, that wouldn't hold a train. I said, I know it won't hold a train. It'll hold a model train. That's all I'm worried about. I mean, it's fairly strong, but if you built it like this and tried to run a real train across that, no, it would not last. In fact, this is the bridge that I used, one of the track radius guides from Fast Tracks.
Yeah.
Because it kind of looked like it would fit on there, and it worked out really well. But stuff like the snow shed, you know, I'm going to lose that. I don't think there's any way to save that. But yeah, I like a lot of it. I'll be able to get most of the structures off of it with no problem. You know, and then I've got a lot of structures that I didn't even get on the layout yet. I built this one.
great house.
I built this one, but stupid me not thinking this is the height for a standard gauge, you know, for a standard rail car. Narrow gauge rail car, that's about halfway up the door.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would have to take all that off. It came out really nice. And I don't remember whose kit this was. It came out really nice. And of course, all the figures and stuff I added to it. But, you know, I love the hobby, but I just can't do this one anymore, this particular layout anymore. One thing I wanted to do that I never did get to. Let's see if you can see this or not. Can you see the? Let me make this bigger.
Alfred, the brewery.
Okay. You see right here. This will make it easier. Okay, see that's the all thread that goes to the ceiling.
Yeah.
There's 2 of them that hold this section of the upper deck on the front edge. Well, I thought, what am I going to do with that? And I thought, well, just paint it. And then I got to thinking, well, what if I paint it like a tree trunk and then just make a tree out of it? So that was my plan was taking this and then taking the pieces like Bill does his and put them around there and just make it a tree right there, which would have worked really well, I think.
Oh yeah, you could definitely for any camera, you could make it completely disappear.
Yeah. Yeah. I could, well, you know, I was thinking about what do I put on this silver to keep it, you know, from looking so, but when you're in here, you don't really notice it that much.
When you're running trains, you
and then
don't notice much of anything other than the train car.
Well, and the plan was to put a balance on this whole up on top piece here. So that would help hide them too from there to the ceiling. But yeah, it's life, you know. Sometimes it doesn't work like you think it's going to. if I'd had enough forethought, I would have done a lot of this a lot different, especially after watching how you do a lot of your stuff, Dennis. You've got a hell of a lot more forethought in what you plan on doing and what you're going to end up with than I do. I just
a
tend
lot
to
of this
jump in with
was
one beat and
for
keep going.
years on the paper before it ever came into reality.
Yeah. Well, you know me, I tend to jump in with both feet and then start flailing my arms because I'm in over my head. Okay, wait a minute here. Let's see. Oh, I hate her mouse. Whew. Okay, what do we got? I'm going to try to, Bernard, I'm going to try and save the trestle bridges. They may get sold too if somebody actually wants them, or give them to somebody if they could use them. I don't think I'm going to be able to use either one of them. And if I had a smaller one, I'd just build a new one. So here she broke mine young. Now I'm paying for it. Oh, you're back? Yeah. I can imagine what that'd be like. Okay. Steve says, what if I made two different loops, not connected. So you save the high stuff, but still have low stuff too. I thought about that. What's that layout? It's an HON3 layout. The San Juan or something like that. Or I know Dennis has seen it. It's a fairly famous layout, but it's two completely disconnected loops, one above the other. And it looks pretty good, but the problem with that is then you have nothing but continuous run. And if I was going to do that, I'd put it on a table and do that, I'd still like having.
You're not talking about Malcolm Furlow.
Say again?
I forget what it's called. Malcolm Furlow's railroad.
It could be. I can't remember the name of it offhand. I looked at it here a couple weeks ago again because I thought about doing something like that because it's about the right footprint for the shop downstairs. So I thought about maybe doing something like that, but I still want some switching in there. Otherwise, it gets too boring.
Yeah.
At least I think so. Even when I go to a train show and the guys got the module set up and they got the really long trains on there running, after you see it go by once, what is there? I want something else from that. Lynn says, what are you using for your cell phone camera stand? I don't remember the name of it. I think I got it off Amazon. It's got a little remote here to it, but I'm not using that little Bluetooth remote that came with it. But it's a nice little stand. It's 5 foot tall, very adjustable at the top, and of course has about 5 sections where you can do it up and down. But I don't remember the name of it. Sorry. If I think about it, Lynn, I will look back in my Amazon history and find it and send it to you. It wasn't very expensive. And Bernard, I wish you was closer too, man. Then you wouldn't be up in this much snow. Just fly out, yeah. Yeah, because that doesn't cost anything. Oh, thanks, Rick. Yeah, it's going to kill me to take it out, but there again, it's you got to face reality at some point, and I'm not getting to enjoy it like I want to because I can't finish it. So it wouldn't be as hard to do if I had all the money back I've spent on it. But we always know that's not going to happen either. anyway, where did they go here? There we go. Anyway, I don't know if anybody's got any more questions, but I will be selling stuff. And like I said, I'm going to give people on here that come to my channel or people on Back on Track, they're going to get first chance at anything I sell, and it'll be at a decent price. Because I don't believe in gouging anybody that way. Anyway, that's kind of the way it is. And some of this will go back on the new layout. I don't know a timeline for sure, but this summer I'm sure I'll be working on it quite a bit. Bad thing is I don't have a pickup truck anymore to haul it off. So I've got to figure out some way of getting it out of here too, because I know the trash guys aren't going to take it. I might have to get one of those big bags, you know, where you can put I don't know how many cubic feet in it, and then call them up and they come haul it off for you. But I don't plan on trying to use any of this bench work back. So anyway, but yeah, I'm going to have, I've got lots of rolling stock and stuff that I'm going to be selling. That's all standard gauge HO. Several locomotives. Now, almost all the locomotives are Denver and Rio Grande paint scheme, either passenger or freight. But doesn't mean you couldn't, you know, change that if you wanted to. And some of them are undecorated, but all of that's going to get sold too. And I've got, like I say, several of them. I probably have 20, close to 20 engines, standard gauge. You know, I was going to tell you, Dennis, I even thought briefly last night of, what about ON30? I would love to go ON30 for the detail aspects.
Yeah.
And do like a backwoods, you know, a backwoods mining short line or something. But if I did that, I'd have to sell all of this stuff, all the, you know, buildings and all that stuff, and then buy all new stuff.
Yeah, changing scales is a huge decision.
Yeah. And I don't want to do that either. So anyway, that's about all I have, guys. I've got a topside creeper. Anybody you've got one, don't you, Dennis? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a topside creeper that my wife bought me a couple of years ago for Christmas, and I used it like 10 times, and then it's folded up over here in the corner. It's a nice one. I'll sell that cheap too. I can probably sell that here locally though. Yeah. Somebody with a big pickup truck will need one. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Unfortunately, sad news. But life goes on. So anyway, thanks guys for any smallish standard gauge steam engines. When you say smallish, what do you mean wheel arrangement? Give me a wheel arrangement. Like 060 or 280?
280.
Trying to think. Hang on a second. I think I got one up here. But I don't think it's that small. No, this is a 210-2. I've got a 210-2 Santa Fe. I think I have a mountain, undecorated mountain. I was really looking forward to getting that on the layout, but it's not got a decoder in it. This doesn't either, by the way. I don't think. I think this is DCC ready. Yes, 8-pin DCC ready, but it doesn't have one in it. But most of my standard gauge stuff was bigger steam locomotives and then older diesel. So I've got a GP7. I've got all the switchers. I think I bought one of all the switchers I could find in an old style switcher. So I've got a bunch of those. But I don't think I have any small steam. Oh, take it back. I've got a 262, and I believe it's DCC with sound because I really liked it, but I broke one of the pins. Should be an easy fix, but one of the pins where it connects to the tender, I broke off, and I haven't gotten it down on the bench to work on it. But when I tested it, right after I bought it, I really liked it. I believe it's a Bachmann. I hate to say that because I don't know for sure, and it's downstairs. But that would be the smallest one I have. Yeah, Bernard bought my Challenger that I had. I had a Challenger, but it was a little bit big for this layout.
Yeah.
It would run on it because it would run on less than 20. I think it ran on 24-inch radius, and this is a 25-inch minimum. But that's a big locomotive. But yeah. Anyway, I'll be getting all that. Yeah, 26. I don't know if it's 260 or 262. I can't remember, Gerald. I'll have to get it out when I start getting stuff out to sell, and I'll probably start doing the HO stuff, the standard gauge HO stuff here before too long. I need bankroll money for my crafts playing on the cruise this summer. So anyway, any other questions? Yeah, Lynn, that's true. Well, it's a funny thing, Lynn. See, I was born not too far from where you live now. But we left there in 66, so too many years gone by. Yeah, that's true, Steve. I'm going to be able to apply everything I've learned and everything I've learned from Dennis and Bill. I mean, I've got Bill's trees on here. You know, I used Dennis's wiring on this upper deck. I didn't think about the lights until I got it up here, and then I started going, how am I going to, and
I didn't think about any lights for buildings either, so that's something I'm going to have to mess with.
leave the wires on as long as you possibly can till you get them hooked together, and then just fold them up and zip tie them or tape them or something to a dowel rod or something and mount that, and it'll keep it all nice and neat, but keep you from having to lean under the layout, because that's, you know, I didn't think anything about getting under this upper deck until I did it, and it was like, holy moly. You
Most
know?
places it won't be an issue for me except above the staging yard. That's where I'm going to struggle the most.
Yeah. Well, you're still a bit younger than I am too.
Yeah, I might not get to it for another 10 years.
I know 5 years ago I had a little problem getting under it, but it wasn't something I wasn't willing to deal with.
Yeah.
But man, it's like everything else when you get older. You get to 30, it's all uphill to 30, right? And what they didn't tell you is once you get over that hill, it's all downhill and it starts picking up speed. It's the picking up speed part that's no fun.
Yeah.
But just having general health problems and stuff is no good. But anyway. You have 18-inch radius. I think it'll work on that, Gerald. I didn't test it on a curve. Oh, yes, I did. I tested it on the 25-inch curve on the loops. And it ran fine on that, obviously, but it would probably do 18-inch because it's a short wheelbase. And I know it's only a big six driver wheels on it, so I just don't remember if it's a 260 or a 2. I don't think it's a 264. Might be a 262, but I think it's a 260. Anyway, if you want first dibs at it, I'll reserve it for you for first dibs. But keep in mind, it does have a broken pin on it that needs to be fixed, which, like I say, should be easy. I even bought the connectors to repair it, and so if I can find those, I'd throw those in there with it. Oh, where are we Mid-October, South Pacific. No, we're not. Let's see, June, end of June, 1st of July, we're doing back-to-backs out of Southampton, England. One's going to Hamburg and Oslo and Copenhagen, northern cities. The second week we go up to Norway. So I'm looking forward to that. I've always wanted to go to Norway. But normally we just sail the Caribbean. We don't even, we've been so many times, we don't even go for the locations anymore unless it's Europe. We just go for the ship. When would I want people contacting me and how would you like to be contacted? Rick, I will let you know on this channel or on Back on Track, one of the two. Probably more so on this channel. But one of the other or both. When I get a little further down the road and a little closer to doing that, I've got to get stuff separated out and see what I've got, because stuff I bought on eBay and stuff, and I'd stick it up. You know, I'd open it up and look at it and check it, and then I'd stick it up in the shelf, and I haven't had it open for 2 years, 3 years. So I need to look through some of that stuff. Find out if it's, especially on the engines, if they're just DC or if they're DCC, or, you know, what's going on there, so you know what you're getting. But anyway, yeah, I will let you know, one or the other, or both. Southampton has some nice little restaurants around them. Well, we won't actually be staying in Southampton. We're going to stay in London. We're going to go in a couple of days early and go to London, do that, and then just drive down the morning of the trip. Besides maybe a road trip to Montana. Hey, I did that when I went out to see Steve. We went through Montana. And Brenda said, "There's nothing out here." I said, "That's why they call it Big Sky Country." It's pretty wide open.
Well, I'm going to cut out of here, Claude.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to get off too, guys. Thanks for coming by and taking a look. And like I say, I'll let everybody know when I'm going to start getting stuff ready to sell and stuff. And you know, guys on here and on Back on Track will have first shot at it when you want stuff, and you know, we'll go from there. Anyway, so that's all the news that's able to be printed, I guess, as they say. Anyway, take care, guys. Be safe out there, and we'll see you next time.